Legends of Firepower, the epic story of the world's greatest submachine guns. Picture this. It's 1914. World War I is raging, and soldiers are stuck in muddy trenches, dodging machine gun fire and artillery blasts. The war's at a stalemate. Nobody's moving forward. But human ingenuity always finds a way. Enter the submachine gun, SMG, a compact, rapid-fire weapon that gave soldiers a fighting chance to break out of the trenches and take the fight to the enemy. These bad boys, firing pistol rounds at automatic speeds, were a game changer, packing the kind of firepower that turned the tide in close-quarters combat. The first ever SMG was the Italian Villa Perosa, officially the Mitragliatrice Fiat Mod, 1915. But don't picture a handheld gun just yet. This was a double-barreled beast originally designed for airplanes or mounted on tripods. If you've seen Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, you've caught a glimpse of it in action during the dogfight scenes. It was bulky and not exactly soldier-friendly, but it proved that pistol rounds in an automatic weapon could pack a serious punch. The real breakthrough for ground troops came with the German MP-18. This was the first true infantry SMG, designed for the chaos of trench warfare. Firing 9mm parabellum rounds, the same as the iconic Luger P-08 pistol. From a 32-round drum magazine, it weighed a hefty 9 pounds but gave German stormtroopers unmatched firepower. With the MP-18, soldiers could storm enemy lines, spraying bullets like never before. This was the birth of the SMG era, and it changed warfare forever. In this article, we're diving deep into the 5 greatest SMGs of all time: the MP-40, Uzi, MP-5, MAC-10, and HK-UMP. I'll break down what makes each one legendary, throw in some historical context, economic insights from web sources, and my own thoughts to keep things spicy. Buckle up. This is going to be a wild ride. MP-40, the German icon that defined a war. When you think of submachine guns, the MP-40 is probably the first image that pops into your head. This German masterpiece is as iconic as the M1 Garand or the P-51 Mustang. It's the SMG that defined World War II, and its story is one of innovation under pressure. The backstory: the MP-40 was an evolution of its predecessor, the MP-38. Both look similar, and most parts were interchangeable, but the MP-40 was a game-changer for one big reason: manufacturing. The MP-38 was made with expensive machined steel, which took time and money, 2 things Nazi Germany couldn't afford in the middle of a global war. So, German engineers got creative. They switched to stamped steel for the MP-40, slashing production costs and speeding up assembly lines. This was revolutionary, like Ford's assembly line for cars. Another cool feature: the MP-40 ditched traditional wooden parts for Bakelite, a new synthetic plastic. This was the first mass-produced military firearm to use plastic, making it lighter and cheaper. Imagine Germany in the 1940s, with factories churning out MP-40s by the thousands to arm soldiers fighting across Europe and North Africa. It was a logistical triumph. Tech specs: the MP-40 fired 9mm parabellum round from a 32-round box magazine. It operated with an open bolt system, meaning the bolt stayed back until you pulled the trigger, then slammed forward to fire. This made it simple, but not super accurate at long ranges. With a fire rate of about 500 rounds per minute, it was perfect for spraying bullets in close combat. Weighing around 9 pounds, it wasn't the lightest, but its folding stock made it a favorite for paratroopers, tank crews, and urban fighters. Plus, it just looked cool, sleek, minimalist, and deadly. Why the MP-40 is legendary. The MP-40 wasn't just a weapon. It was a manufacturing revolution. Stamped steel and Bakelite became the blueprint for future SMGs, making them cheaper and faster to produce. It was like the iPhone of its day, cutting edge and widely adopted. German soldiers loved its reliability, Whether in the freezing Russian winters or the scorching deserts of North Africa, the MP40 kept firing. But it wasn't perfect. The 32-round magazine could jam if not loaded carefully, and its accuracy dropped off beyond 50 yards. Still, in tight spaces like city streets or bunkers, it was a beast. Hollywood cemented its legacy. Think of any World War II movie, from Saving Private Ryan to Inglourious Bastard. The MP40 is the Nazi gun, instantly recognizable. Economic context. To understand the MP40's impact, let's talk economics. During World War II, Germany's war machine consumed up to 60% of its GDP by 1943, according to historians. Producing affordable weapons was critical. The MP40's stamped steel design allowed factories to pump out around 100,000 units a year at its peak. For context, that's like producing enough Tesla Model 3s to fill a small city. This efficiency kept German troops armed even as resources dwindled. The MP40 wasn't just a weapon, it was a lifeline for a nation at war. My take: the MP40 is a symbol of grit and innovation. It showed that wars aren't just won with courage, but with smart engineering. Its influence is still felt today. Modern assault rifles owe a debt to its manufacturing techniques. But if it were made today, it'd probably flop. Why? Modern combat demands precision and versatility, and the MP40 is a bit of a one-trick pony. Still, its legacy is untouchable. It's the James Dean of SMGs, cool, rebellious, and forever iconic. Uzi, the Israeli underdog that conquered the world. Fast forward to 1948. Israel, a brand new nation, is fighting for survival against hostile neighbors. Arms embargoes cut off supplies, and the country's desperate for weapons it can build itself. Enter the Uzi, a compact powerhouse that became a global legend. The backstory: the Uzi was designed by Uziel Gal, an Israeli army officer with a knack for engineering. Israel needed a cheap, reliable SMG that could be made locally. Gal drew inspiration from the Czech 476 Zambian Kwacha, which used a clever telescoping bolt design to save space. By 1950, the Uzi prototype was ready, and by 1954, it was in the hands of Israeli soldiers. This wasn't just a weapon. It was a symbol of a nation's fight to exist. Tech specs: the Uzi fires 9mm parabellum round from a 25 or 32-round magazine, inserted into the pistol grip for quick reloads. Its fire rate is around 600 rounds per minute, perfect for close-quarters combat. Weighing about 7.7 pounds, it was lighter than the MP40, and its folding stock made it super portable. A built-in safety system in the charging handle prevented accidental shots, a big plus for troops in high-stress situations. The Uzi also came in multiple calibers from .22 LR to .45 ACP, making it a jack of all trades. Why the Uzi is legendary. The Uzi was a lifeline for Israel. With over 10 million units produced, it's the most prolific SMG in history. More than the population of New York City, its simplicity and low cost made it a hit worldwide, from South American police forces to African militias. But it's not just about numbers. The Uzi became a cultural icon. In the 1980s, it was the go-to gun for action heroes in movies like The Terminator or Die Hard. Even rappers name-dropped it in songs. That's how you know you've made it. The Uzi was also a favorite of special forces and security teams. Its compact size meant you could hide it under a jacket, perfect for covert ops or VIP protection. From the Secret Service to Mossad, everyone wanted an Uzi. Economic context: Israel in the 1950s was a developing nation with a tiny economy. Its military budget was about 7% of GDP, but most of that went to imports. The Uzi changed that. Locally produced, it saved Israel billions and turned the country into a weapons exporter. By the 1980s, Israel was among the top 10 arms exporters globally, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI. The Uzi was a cash cow, funding Israel's defense and boosting its economy. My take: the Uzi is the ultimate underdog story. Born in a nation fighting for survival, it became a global superstar. It's like a startup that goes from a garage to Wall Street. Sure, it wasn't the most accurate SMG, and its weight could be a drag, but it got the job done when it mattered most. Today, the Uzi is mostly retired, replaced by rifles like the M4. But its legacy lives on in every compact SMG that followed. It's proof that necessity breeds brilliance. MP5, the precision machine that ruled the West. If the MP40 was the king of World War II, the MP5 was the emperor of the Cold War. This German masterpiece, built by Heckler and Koch, became the gold standard for special forces and police worldwide. Let's break it down. The backstory. The MP5 was born in the 1960s, built on the bones of Heckler and Koch's G3 rifle, which itself came from the Spanish Submachine and the German STG-45 prototype. By 1966, it was arming West German border guards, but it quickly spread to elite units like the FBI's hostage rescue team and the British SAS. Why? Because it was versatile, accurate, and built like a tank. Tech specs. The MP5 uses a roller-delayed blowback system, a fancy setup that makes it insanely accurate for an SMG. Unlike the open-bolt MP40 or Uzi, the MP5 fires from a closed bolt, meaning the bolt is locked before firing. This reduces recoil and boosts precision. With a fire rate of 800 rounds per minute in 15 or 30-round magazines, it's a beast in close combat. Its modular design lets you slap on silencers, optics, or flashlights. The MP5 SD variant, with a built-in suppressor, is whisper quiet, perfect for stealth ops. There's even a pint-sized MP5K for concealed carry. Why the MP5 is legendary. The MP5 is the Swiss Army knife of SMGs. It's been used in every major counter-terror op you can think of, like the 1980 Iranian embassy siege in London, where the SAS stormed the building with MP5s blazing. Its accuracy and reliability made it a favorite of Western militaries and police. Hollywood fell in love too. Think Die Hard, Black Hawk Down, or Counter-Strike. The MP5 is everywhere. But its reign didn't last forever. By the 2000s, short-barreled rifles like the M4 started taking over, thanks to their harder-hitting rounds. Still, the MP5 remains a legend for its precision and versatility. Economic context. West Germany in the 1960s was an economic powerhouse, with GDP growth of 5 to 6% annually per World Bank data. This allowed Heckler and Koch to invest in cutting-edge designs like the MP5. It wasn't cheap to produce, but its global demand, used by over 40 countries, made it a cash machine. By the 1990s, H&K was raking in billions from MP5 sales, cementing Germany's reputation for quality engineering. My take: the MP5 is German engineering at its finest, like a BMW M5 in gun form. It's not the cheapest or simplest, but it's damn near perfect for its role. If I were picking an SMG for a high-stakes mission, the MP5 would be my go-to. Its only flaw: that 800 round per minute fire rate can be a bit much for newbies. But in skilled hands, it's a surgical tool. Even today, it's hard to beat for close-quarters combat. Mach 10, the pocket rocket that packed a punch. Now let's talk about the Mach 10, the wild child of SMGs. It's not the most refined, but it's got a raw, in-your-face vibe that made it a star in the 1970s and 80s. The backstory: the Mach 10 was created by the Military Armaments Corporation in the 1970s. Fun fact: the name Mach 10 was coined by gun enthusiasts, not the company. The goal was simple: build a dirt-cheap, ultra-compact SMG that could be mass-produced. The result was a gun that looked like a pistol but fired like a machine gun. It came in 9mm Parabellum and .45 ACP, with a smaller Mac 11 variant in .380 ACP. With a fire rate of up to 1,600 rounds per minute, it was a bullet hose. Tech specs. The Mac 10 is all about simplicity. Made almost entirely of stamped steel, it was cheap to produce but weighed a hefty 6 pounds, about the same as an M16. It was designed for suppressors, making it a favorite for quiet operations. But that insane fire rate made it hard to control. Imagine trying to aim a fire hose. That's the Mac 10 in full auto. Why the Mac 10 is legendary. The Mac 10 wasn't the most accurate or reliable, but it was affordable and widely available. In the 1970s and 80s, it was everywhere, used by police, private security, and even less savory groups. Hollywood loved it too. It's the gun of choice in action flicks like Scarface and RoboCop. But the 1986 U.S. ban on civilian machine guns killed its momentum, and production tanked. Economic context. The 1970s were rough for the U.S. Economy, stagflation, oil crises, and rising unemployment. The Mac 10's low production cost, about $100 per unit, made it a hit for budget-conscious buyers, especially in developing nations. It was the dollar store SMG, but got the job done. My take. The Mac 10 is like a muscle car, loud, brash, and a little sloppy, but undeniably cool. It's not the gun you'd pick for precision, but for raw firepower in a tiny package, it's hard to beat. It reminds me that sometimes being memorable is just as important as being perfect. HK-UMP, the future that never quite arrived. Last up is the HK-UMP, Universal Machine Pistol, the most modern SMG on our list. It's a tech marvel that didn't quite catch on, but its innovations are worth celebrating. The backstory. Introduced in 2000 by Heckler & Koch, the UMP was meant to be the next-gen SMG, building on the MP5's legacy. It used lightweight polymers and a modular design to keep up with modern demands. At just 5.1 pound for the 9mm version, it was a featherweight compared to older SMGs. Tech specs. The UMP fires from a closed bolt for better accuracy and supports 3 calibers, 9mm, .40S and W, and .45 ACP, with easy swaps of the barrel and magazine. Its fire rate is a tame 600 rounds per minute, making it super controllable. A transparent magazine window lets you see your ammo count, and its modular controls are straight out of the MP5 playbook. It's like the Glock of SMGs, simple, reliable, and versatile. Why the UMP isn't a household name. The UMP was awesome, but it hit the market at the wrong time. By the 2000s, militaries and police were shifting to rifles like the M4 and 416 Hong Kong dollars, which offer more range and power. The UMP found a niche with some special forces, but it never matched the MP5's fame. Still, it inspired later designs like the MP7. Fun fact, you can spot it in the James Bond flick Casino Royale. The early 2000s saw a crowded global arms market. According to SIPRI, the US and Europe dominated exports, but competition was fierce. The UMP's high production costs made it less appealing than cheaper alternatives, limiting its reach. The UMP is like a concept car, sleek, innovative, but not quite ready for the mainstream. It's a reminder that even great ideas can get overshadowed by timing. If you're a Bond fan, though, the UMP is pure eye candy. Submachine guns are more than just weapons. They're stories of human ingenuity. From the MP40's wartime grit to the UMP's futuristic flair, these SMGs shaped battles, saved lives, and starred in our favorite movies. They're fading from modern arsenals, replaced by rifles, but their legacy endures. The MP40 taught us efficiency, the Uzi showed us resilience, the MP5 proved precision, the Mac 10 brought raw power, and the UMP dared to dream big. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. Which SMG is your favorite? Want more deep dives into weapons, history, or tech? Let me know, and I'll keep the stories coming. Stay locked and loaded, and I'll see you in the next one.